What are you watching?
Well, the best is that last season we went live.
That's what I was going to ask you about. The last how many episodes were live?
13. And then
Wow.
When I say live, people don't know what it means. We had a live East Coast and West Coast taping. This is before SNL did it. They did it right after, where you do both coasts. And it's live. It's what you see is what you get, like the old school sitcoms.
Yeah,
The Carol Burnett show and all that, Right? Am I wrong? No.
Well, they had what's called a coaxial cable,
Okay.
and that's what they did on East Coast, West Coast at the same time.
Anyway, so we were excited, but we also didn't know why a major network was letting us, because it was me, Chris D'Elia, Rick Glassman, who you know, and Ron Funches, who are all Comedy Store comics. Ron's very quiet and is a joke killer. Like he has the most killer bits. And then Rick Glassman is like an Andy Kaufman type. He's really, you don't know where he's going to go, and but it could be brilliant. And then you had Chris, who's very physical. And then you had me, who's just ranter. And you're telling us that you're going to put 4 comics, one of which I was a PA before this.
Right.
It's not like I was in theater and then made it all the way up and let's try him on live TV. This is like he was literally there.
Yeah.
Getting it. Here you go, Mr. O'Brien. And now he's here. Go. Like, it didn't make sense to me. Like, the only one person that worked out of the 4 of us was Chris.
How scripted was it?
Oh, it was scripted, but we were allowed to improvise. Chris and I in particular the most, but you forget when it's live, you have 22 minutes. Like there's a light, like a Comedy Store light.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a light. You can't go over that 22 minutes.
Right.
Like or the episode just ends. And so it's hard to improvise, but we had so much leeway. Chris and I would find funny things and be like, I really want to try that thing. Yeah, but we're already 4 minutes over. Bill told us
And you got the commercial break to put this
commercial
together.
break, they would cut everything. They go, all right, you guys went way too long on that. What the hell was that, Chris? You had a mental breakdown. And it's like, yeah, I didn't memorize it. Like, Chris! There were so many times where it would be counting like 5, 4, and Chris and I'd be looking at each other, and he'd go, what scene is this? And I would go, I don't know. Danny! We'd have to improvise it. We did have one moment where we were like, we're way over. But we had this one bit we wanted to do because we had regular real actors on the show too. And this one British actor, David Finn, who's great. He ended up leaving and going to play Jack, went and did Broadway at School of Rock. Like he was the lead, and he was nominated for an Olivier Award. So he's very trained. And we were making him laugh in rehearsal because actors aren't comics. Like we fall on our face all the time and then try to get out of it. We're not scared of the mud really.
Yeah.
And they're more prepared and professional.
Right.
So we're making him laugh with Chris and I's silly things that don't make sense. And he goes, do not do that. Please, do not do that tonight. And we're like, well, now we're going to have to.
Yeah.
And it was some ridiculous act out. It made no sense. We're getting excited for that scene because we're going to break him on national television and make him lose his place. Because that's all it was about. It was about just trying to get people to mess up their lives on TV.
Exactly.
And our boss comes out. He goes, all right, you guys went way too long. We can only say one line on this page, all right, because we only have so many minutes to finish the entire episode. So it's cut down to one line. And it was supposed to be a whole page. And Chris goes, oh, this is too bad. I go, oh, come on, let's do it. And he goes, you heard him, we can't do it. I go, come on, it won't take that long, we'll rush through it. It's like when you try not to run the light, but you still ran the light,
right.
So we do it. And we realize when it's done, because they go to commercial, that we're like, I think the show just ended. Like this is the middle of the episode, and I think it just ended because we went off. Like once we get the laugh from the crowd, we broke him. We're scared of our boss. Because we're like, I think we just ruined the show. Because we were supposed to do 2 more scenes, and that's the end of the episode. Right now, the episode doesn't make sense if it just cuts out like, Keep in mind, he told us specifically just this one line. I'm telling you to, don't mess around. This is important. We're like, yes. And then we didn't do that. And we just went off. And now we think the show's over. And Chris never gets nervous, goes, I think the show's over. I think the show is over. I don't want to go over there. They're going to yell at us. They're going to yell, Bill's coming, Bill's coming. And Bill, when he gets mad, he won't look at you.
Yeah.
He just starts working in front of you. So he goes, all right, well, we have 15 seconds to finish an entire episode now. So we're going to cut that, we're cutting that, we're cutting that, we're cutting that. And you had to do the bit, huh? You say that, and then we're done. And so literally, the episode makes no sense. Like there's a whole B story we never get to. It just goes from and then back from commercial to, well, that was a day. And then he wouldn't talk to us for a week.